Hello, and welcome to the commonlawcourt.com website. Today we're going to show you how to complete your application for your fictitious name. As you can see, the website here is at the home page, and what we're going to do is, as with any other form you fill out on the site, they are all listed under the Deeds section. So if we click Deeds, you can see here at the top it shows you that we have 16 different categories in the Deeds section. And as I just scroll down here, you can see the various ones. So what we're going to do is take you back to the top, and the one that we are selecting just now is the fictitious name. So we click on that. It shows you here how to reclaim the fictitious name that is attached to you. Now I'm going to explain roughly what to do and how to go about it. However, if you read through here, it will explain what is happening. And what we're going to do is click on the link at the bottom, and then it'll send you to the form. Before we actually complete the form, we're going to explain roughly what we're doing. Now, the fictitious name is the name that the government attached to you as a baby. When your parents recorded your birth certificate, at the same time the statutory court or the statutory system created a legal entity, a fictitious name, or what we sometimes call a straw man. Now, what they've done is they will only interact with that legal title. And for the rest of your life, effectively, it's a slave name that they have attached to you. Now, they try to disguise it because, first of all, they write it in capital letters, uppercase. However, they do use variations to that now because they're catching on to the fact that we know about it. However, they do attach a title to you. In the case of adult males, it would be a Mr., and you can also have the title of Miss or Mrs. and various other titles. Whatever title they use within the system, that is attached to you, the straw man, the legal entity, the fictitious name. Now, before we proceed, what we're going to do is explain that when you or your parents recorded your birth with your birth certificate, the government had created effectively a contractual agreement because they've set up this legal fiction or fictitious name or fictitious entity. Now, the reason we know it's a contract is because, using their own rules, we won't use the word law because it's not a law unless you consent, it's rules. According to their rules, if there is more than one party involved in the agreement, well, there would be because you, although you were too young to understand at the time, you were involved, your parents were involved, and the state. And so again, according to their rules, it becomes a contractual agreement. Now, according to their rules again, for a contract to be both legal and lawful, it has to meet certain criteria and comply with them. And the one that we're going to select is full disclosure. Now, in relation to full disclosure, that means that each party in the contract has to be fully aware of what was going on. And each party would have to give a full explanation of their involvement. Now, when you were born, you were too young to understand, and since you've grown up, the state have never informed you about what they've done, and they never informed your parents of what was done, so therefore, the birth certificate was created, the legal entity was created, and the use of it by the state is all fraudulent, which means that they do not have ownership over this title, whether or not they created it, because it was created fraudulently, and the use of it is criminal and is fraud. So therefore, because the legal fiction exists, the fictitious name, to assist you in everyday life, there's no point in trying to get rid of it. So what we do is we take ownership of it. Now, to do so, first of all, you would have to confirm that you are living. So therefore, by submitting your declaration of birth with the common law court, you've already achieved that. So you are living, and the birth certificate from the common law court confirms that. Now, what the people have also said is that because the name was gifted to the child, if any fictitious name has been created, the rightful owner should be the individual that was given the birth name, which would be yourself. Therefore, you're not actually granted this immediately. What you have to do is fill out this form. Now, when you're filling this form out, it is literally an application for ownership. The only criteria is that it can only be claimed by someone who is living, so once you confirm with the declaration of birth that you are in fact living, you are then entitled to claim the legal fiction. Now you have a priority claim on this fictitious name that was given to you, because it is attached to you by the state. So therefore, what you're doing is claiming ownership. Now, if we go down this form just now, you will see here the fictitious name. What you're required to do in the first box is enter the full name here, and that would include the title. So include the title, put your full name, and write it in uppercase letters. Now, this has been claimed from the government, it's been claimed by yourself, and you will own it. What you then do in the next field is you enter your email address that you use. And again, what you're going to do is put in a registered address for the fictitious name. Effectively, it's a business address. Now, by business address, it means if you have a driver's license, a passport, or a bank card, those documents and card will be registered to a specific address. That effectively is the business address for your legal title, so you enter that there. In most cases, it would be your home address, but it may vary, so enter that in here. And then from there, we're going to look at the personal owner's details, and that would be yourself. What you're then required to do is enter where you stay, the city, the village, or the town. You then put in the postcode, and again you then list here the region that you're based in for the principal place of business. Now for that, it's simply easy enough just to submit the country. So if you live in England, just put England. Obviously, it could be France or Australia. Just put the country where you're actually based. Now, if you come down here, what we're going to do is to claim the legal title. Now, in relation to yourself, because you're filling this form out, what you're doing is claiming the legal title yourself, so it's not a joint application. What we then do is enter your first name here, your surname here, and if you have any middle names, simply enter the initials here. You're then required to put your home address there, your city or village and postcode here. So you put that in there. Now you'll know that the information that you've put in here may be the same as the information you supplied above for the legal title. As the legal title is registered to an address which could be your home address. But what we're doing down here is we're identifying where the living man or woman is staying. So this is a home address, and again it's probably the same address as the one above, but enter it. Now we're not going to make a joint application because you're claiming your own name, so you can forget this section. What you do then is you come down to the bottom here. You'll find that when you recorded your birth, you received a birth certificate number. Now you click in here and there's an example that comes up because I've hovered over the field. It's come up with BC, and BC stands for birth certificate, / and it says 21. And the reason it says 21 is that identifies the year that you submitted your application, in this case 2021. There's another / and then a number of either 5 or 6 digits. Enter that is your birth certificate number. Now when you put this information in, there's a warning comes up here about the fact that when you put this information in, that it is correct information and that it's not going to be used for fraudulent purposes. It is accurate, and basically you're testifying to that. And now you're asked to put in a mobile number. This could also be a landline number, it's just for contact purposes for us. And similarly, you are then required to sign in here. Now, signing digitally, all you're going to do is to type in the letters you would normally use when signing your signature. For example, if your name was Joe Bloggs, you might sign J and then the word blogs. So you would type in J Bloggs. But if, on the other hand, you sign your name Joe Bloggs, you would then be required to type in J-O-E and then the word blogs. So basically, it's a duplicate of your signature entered electronically. Enter the information there, click submit, and then you will receive a registration number for the fictitious name. That then gives you full control and ownership of the legal title, which means that the state no longer have control over this, and unless you consent, they are not allowed to use this, so you can defend yourself. Hopefully you've found this straightforward and you've managed to complete your form. If you require any other information about any of the other fields, when you click onto the relevant form under the Deeds section, it will give you a description as to how to fill out the form. Thank you for watching this, and hopefully you enjoy the site. Goodbye for now.